see where the video takes us. So let's get a little zoomed in. And see what kind of faces we're going to see today. So there we go. We'll just start with a simple eye real quick. Come over here and do the other eye. This is kind of like our warm-up, so we're not going to worry too much about how it looks and, you know, if it looks similar to the other side or anything like that. Symmetry, we're not going to worry about that right now. We're just getting warmed up. There we go. Just kind of like giving me a vibes of a person that's just thinking or a little confused, maybe a little surprised about something. Come back to the back of the head here. Like that. There we go. Get the ears in there. We're probably not going to see this ear very much in comparison to this side, because we're kind of seeing more of this side. So we'll just kind of finish this up here. Come on down. Honestly, he's coming across as kind of an elderly type of character, and we can kind of emphasize his age by just adding a bunch of lines here, forehead, stuff like that, on the sides. There we go. I kind of aged him a little bit, even though he has a great head of hair for his age. Looks pretty good still. Alright. So there we are. We got one page, or one character, or one face on the page. Let's move on to another one. And who knows, it might just be a video full of faces, which I've done before. And I think maybe I'm just trying to help you distract yourself, because sometimes a lot of us are stuck in our heads. Maybe we're thinking about mistakes we made many, many years ago, still haunting us. It comes out of nowhere. Maybe someone will say something and it'll trigger a memory, and you'll instantly be transported back to that time when you were embarrassed or ashamed, or someone made you feel less of yourself. Maybe maybe you were wrong. Maybe you were in the wrong and it was your fault. And your brain takes you back there. It's exhausting living in the past, but it's harder to escape than people imagine. So it's nice to have little distractions here and there, just to kind of help you alleviate those past traumas. And what's really funny to me is I just like to tell myself that everyone is thinking about it. Everyone that I know that was involved in this terrible incident that I was maybe guilty of. Everyone's thinking about it. When in reality, the reality is no one's thinking about it. Everyone's thinking about themselves and the mistakes they've made. You're not the main character in someone else's life. You're not on their mind as much as you are on your own mind. But it's hard to convince yourself of that. There we go. It's a nice little face. Alright. We're getting nice and warmed up for this video. Let's just keep going. I'm having a good time doing this. It's been a little while since the last video, so let's just doodle a little bit and be true to our name and just doodle. See what we can do. don't even like to open the eyes. Keep them nice and shut. Gives me like a Brock vibe from Pokemon. Then maybe we'll get some glasses. I like to thicken the bottom of the glasses, kind of like it's got a framed, like a half frame. And then some lines on the glasses, just like that. There we go. We're not worried about symmetry. We're not worried about symmetry right now. This is just a warm-up. And we're just trying to distract. I'm imagining a mustache for this guy. Kind of a cute guy. There we are. Something like that. It's kind of cute, actually. We'll just kind of have a little more tendrils of hair coming out, just so it kind of looks more like hair. We'll have little these strands and these. There we go. Doesn't really look like one by anymore, but let's see. There we go. Maybe we'll go up like this. There, maybe he's a really jolly man, kind of like a Santa Claus-esque type person, but we're gonna make him kind of like a jolly. There. Come in with the ears. Let's figure out what kind of character this is. We're gonna kind of give him like a shape here, but then I kind of want to keep him nice and large. He's got some crazy hair. He doesn't have time to take care of his hair, so he just gets up in the morning and he's out of the house. He's got things to do. He's not worried about the way he looks. I wish a lot of us could be that way. I wish I could be that way. There you go. Maybe, he's not too worried about how he looks, so maybe he's got some stubble. Just a big jolly man. Something like that. There. All right. So let's move on to another doodle here. We met our jolly man. But I guess we can also talk about we worry so much about what other people think of us. Why do we take forever to decide to leave the house? Why can't we just be happy with how we look? Why does someone else's input matter? And I haven't read too much on it, but I do know that it's deeply, deeply embedded in our human nature. We don't want to stick out. We don't want to stick out because that means we're going to be ousted from the tribe, and our survivability drops. That's how it used to be, at least. When we didn't want to be alone, because survival would have been so much harder back then. If you were all by yourself, you didn't have a tribe to rely on. You didn't have groups of people taking turns, staying up in the night, keeping the wolves away, keeping the snakes away, keeping the fire going. If you upset anyone else, you ran the risk of getting kicked out of the tribe. And no one wants that. But now, things are kind of different in the sense that you could probably do just fine on your own, where you don't have to exactly rely on others to such a extreme degree where your survival relied on it. That's not always the case, especially in the sense of people that are disabled and stuff. So that's not always the case, but just talking about the fear of why we worry about other people's judgments. If people are judging us, then we're going to get kicked out. We're going to get ousted from society, and then our little lizard brains kick in, and they say, and it says, "Oh, if you're not with a tribe, you're going to die. The winter is going to take you. Nature is going to take you." And people still get very valid anxiety about that because your brain is kind of fighting against you. But how cool would it be if we could be like our jolly friend over there, who could just leave the house, doesn't care what he looks like, hair unbrushed, uncombed, stubble, not shaving. I know many, 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 many women that absolutely refuse to leave the house unless they are shaved. Their legs and their armpits and whatever else, because society has just completely warped that whole thing. And women that want to shave, more power to you. But I know many women that are concerned about judgment from others for lack of shaving, because there's such a stigma for especially females and feminine people. They have to be flawlessly hairless, and it gets me thinking, why did that ever come to be? I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I haven't been attracted to shaved women, hair, legs, armpits, whatever, what have you. But at the same time, it's really not a big deal to me if they keep the hair as well, because it's kind of, their body. So why the heck does someone else's input dictate what they do to their body? But I think it comes back to that lizard brain. That lizard brain telling us, hey, you better fit in to the tribe, or you're going to get kicked out, and then the wolves are going to get you. The fire, you're not going to have the safety of the fire of the tribe. You're going to be on your own. And how do you break such a deeply embedded fear? Well, just like with everything else, I'd imagine practice. Practice and building a habit of putting your thoughts first and your feelings first, whatever you want to do. It's taken me many, many years to come to that realization that no one has the power to control my feelings. Inward. So they blame others and they want to see other people completely lose it in front of them to give them a sense of power and a sense of control. Some people just have really bad attitudes and they're out to get you. Just naturally, sometimes naturally just mean. So what are you gonna do? Try and get rid of those type of people? That's never gonna happen. Those type of people evil. And they are willing to make your life hell for the fun of it. So the best way to protect yourself from that is to practice and practice and practice and get your resolve and your constitution strengthened, so sad people like this, have little to no effect on you, and you render them completely powerless. If a malevolent person like this comes at you unhappy and wants to make you unhappy to join their misery, and you show no signs of joining them, and you're still happy and you're still in your own thoughts and you control how you feel, they're completely powerless. And then they become more upset with themselves. It's a vicious cycle for those type of people. But like I said, it's a really difficult thing to kind of master, and I certainly am nowhere near mastering that. I've just come to learn that I really am in a lot more control of my life than I thought. And sometimes it's necessary to have that little awkward conversation where you have to talk about something you don't want to, maybe hurt someone's feelings. And it's called healthy boundaries, where you have to set them up yourself, because if you're not looking out for your best interest, no one else is. You have to remember that. Besides, the obvious people that are very much loved ones in your life that care for you and they want the best for you. Not those people. It's the people that you meet, the people at work that don't have as a huge impact on your life as you think. And if they're not going to sit around and think, hey, the doodler looks sad today, maybe I should leave them alone, and maybe not give them some extra work, or maybe I shouldn't do this or that. That's never going to happen. If they are still continuing to add to the stress, you need to step up and defend yourself, because no one's looking out for you the most than yourself. And you got to remember that. But it takes lots of practice. It's back to that lizard brain thing. Back to the ape brain. We don't want to stand outside of the tribe. We don't want to rustle any feathers, because that's going to cause us to be by ourselves. No one wants that. But you gotta also come to terms with the reality that not everyone has your best interest in mind. So you have to protect yourself. You cannot give people power. It's just kind of like what I just heard Mike Tyson say on his podcast. He said, if you allow an enemy or someone to change your mood or change anything about yourself, they are your master and you are their slave. If someone completely changes your demeanor, or, oh, I want to avoid this place because what's so-and-so is there. Oh, I don't want to talk to this person because so-and-so something. If you're making changes to yourself due to someone else, Mike Tyson said, they are your master now, and you are their slave. And that was kind of a powerful thing to me. So, but again, it takes lots and lots and lots of practice. Look at this guy's eye. Very small. Maybe he's got some really thick glasses. There we are. There. Maybe some lines on the forehead here. So I think we are just about to the end of our little doodle / mental health chat video. I hope you have found some of the things I said helpful. Things aren't going to get 100% better after you watch this video and listen to these words, and maybe it helped you 0%. But try and remember who's in control when it comes to your feelings, when it comes to your decisions. Who is in control? Not your boss, not even your parents, when you get to a certain age. Not your friends, not your spouse. You are in control. So, there we have it. These are the doodles of the page. Our friends that we got to meet. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's easier said than done, but please be good to yourself. And I'll catch you in the next video. Take care of yourself, my dudes. Bye-bye.